Hey there.
By the way, I've marked the location on your map. I'm awful with electronics, so let's hope it was the right place. I'll leave the particulars to your discretion. Better if it's someone who's detached from the situation.
What's this all about?
Well, it used to be about money. Now it's about principle. I own half the combination to a private safe, a fortune our family has been fighting over for centuries. But a month ago, I got a letter inviting me to the Commonwealth from a man who claimed to be my brother. Rather interesting, considering he's dead.
Family? It's important. Are you sure you want this?
Your concern is noted, but I'm afraid you're confusing the word family with people who want me dead. I assure you, the second list is far more inclusive. Long story short, it's a sibling rivalry, except with more violence. Because unlike the wasteland, some things never get old. On the contrary, they only get worse. We should be careful. Family reunions in my house tend to start with bullets and end with blood. Of course, in between there's arguments, dancing, and champagne. To be honest, I'm not sure which is more dangerous. Well, let's see. It appears this isn't Barnaby at all. In fact, it's my older brother Arthur. Hard to be sure, given he's a ghoul, but I can tell by the eyes. They're incredibly pretentious. We should search the body for a holotape. The letter said the combination would be on that.
Well, if you're listening to this, Audrey, then I'm dead. If you're wondering how I got Barnaby's number, well, let's just call it magic. After all, I know how much you hate comic books, and mysteries even more so. Knowing how annoyed you must be. As for the inheritance, I am nothing if not a man of my word. My number is 14, and Barnaby's is 82. As far as I know, you already have Antoinette's and Margaret's. I won't ask how you got them. I know Antoinette was always going to be the first to die, and Margaret perished the day she tried to put her brain into that machine. For all her intelligence, it boggles the mind how stupid she... Either way, congratulations. You've won. Perhaps it would have been easier if we just shared the wealth like father intended, instead of trying to outlive each other through various means. In the end, we outlive society itself. I take comfort knowing you'll be stuck forever in this awful, decrepit place.
Hey, if nothing else, So, that's why he insisted on holotapes. Even in death, Arthur found a way to get the last word. I loved that about him, as much as I despised everything else. But I am sad that he's gone. He was family, after all. Which means the infection I suffered in D.C. has yet to subside.
After what happened to my family, I can understand.
Thank you. Although by no means do I want to compare scars. I'd venture mine are hardly worth mentioning compared to yours. At the very least, I'm sure your family spent their days not trying to kill each other, as opposed to 200 years doing the opposite.
What do we do now?
One thing we won't do is give up. If Arthur's dead, that means someone killed him, and that person had to have a motive. Granted, that list might be infinite, so it's best we start at the top.
Maybe you should find a doctor.
I'm afraid modern medicine can't cure the disease of caring. Well, either that or the stimpaks I've been using are defective. But I'm long past the days when I saw it as a sin. In any case, we need to find out who killed him and why.
What do you think happened to him?
If I had to venture a guess, I'd say this is Margaret's work. You can tell by the lasers and dead robots. And if Margaret's really alive, perhaps you'll want to work together. My sister would know this, of course. See if you can't find another clue somewhere. Hopefully with an address and directions.
Hey,
Just say the word.
I found this old photo.
Ah, I know the place in the picture. A pre-war cafe for dilettantes and socialites, and a post-war nightclub for hustlers and scavs. Old enough to feel safe, but new enough to be dangerous. That's my sister for you. One step ahead with two left feet. Well, we shouldn't keep her waiting. Let's go. So here you are. This bar was a nice choice. Maudlin, but nice all the same.
You'd be amazed how little this neighborhood has changed. The bombs may have dropped, but the dirt is still here.
And you were never one to avoid getting your hands dirty. In fact, you're looking much better than Arthur these days.
Looking's not as good as having, honey.
It never is. I suppose the question is whether or if you want to do this together.
I do, actually.
Then it's time you dropped this ruse. After all, you're far too nice to pass for my sister. You, on the other hand, with that disgruntled look, as if the world were too small and you had to slouch to fit inside it. That I recognize.
You're as perceptive as ever, Audrey. And still a huge bitch.
Takes one to know one. Is this a new body? Well, new in the relative sense. Came in vintage models.
Why do you think I chose it? It helps sell the illusion. Not that I needed it. Arthur would never deign to make eye contact with the help.
So, you've been working for him.
Naturally. I let him collect the combination, then waited for my opportunity to take it. After all, our brother would never agree to working together. He'd call it surrendering to Father's idealistic garbage.
He also wouldn't trust either of us not to kill him.
That too. In fact, saying was, that isn't water under the bridge.
Yes, I imagine it was something much thicker. And he was right, as it turns out. So, why not do the same to me?
Because I've always liked you, Audrey. I couldn't stand to be around you, but that's not the same thing. And best of all, I know working together would piss our brother off to no end.
All right. But if we're going to work together, my friend, she's quite capable.
Still don't trust me, do you? All right, fine. Your friend can come. The two of you can meet me at the old summer estate. It's time to find out once and for all what legacy Father left us.
What is it, my dear?
It would be nice to know more about you.
Sure, why not? I haven't traveled with anyone since I left DC, so it's nice to have someone to confide in.
What's it like, being a ghoul?
Well, that mostly depends on what kind of human you were. If you were vain, I imagine it would be full of self-loathing. Me, I'm incredibly vain.
What were you doing in the Capital Wasteland?
I was looking for my brother Barnaby. That's where he ostensibly died. On the way, I met a few people in blue jumpsuits. One of them saved my life. The other gave it meaning. But that's a story for another time.
Come on, tell me the whole story. Who were you before all this?
You're a persistent one, aren't you? I like that. As I said before, a ghoul's life story isn't a novel. It's more like a library. But who knows? In time, perhaps I'll find a moment to loan you a book.
That's all for now.
Of course, my dear.
So what have you been up to, sister? Still shooting raiders for kicks?
Yes, but not intentionally. Nowadays, they just force my hand. And you?
Oh, the same old. Forever building the better mousetrap, as you like to call it.
And have you caught many mice with this contraption of yours?
I've caught enough.
Here we are, the old summer home. It's just as tacky as I remember it.
Who cares? The terminal for the code's on the wall there. My number's 47.
All right, I'll enter the full code now. What is it you think we'll find, anyway?
I don't know. Gold, jewels, baseball cards. Could be anything. The old man was secretive.
We must have had different fathers. The one I remember would go out of his way to tell you about his exploits.
Only when he was drunk.
Shall we?
Congratulations on entering the safe room. Your father would have been very pleased you managed to make it this far. Of course, there's no guarantee the five of you work together, and as such, further proof is needed.
You can't be serious.
As you'll note, there are 5 rooms in this house, each with a self-contained test design all, and you unlock the main safe.
Except there's only 2 of us here.
Don't bother. It's a recording. It's a miracle this piece of scrap even functions after all this time.
Now go forth, sirs and madams, and reap the rewards that can only come from working together.
So, the entire house is a safe. I assume cracking our puzzles will be easy. The rest will take some ingenuity. We'll have to act like our siblings. Or even worse, think like...
Friend, you were always mocking everyone's mannerisms. Perhaps that might pay off here.
Well, I assume the kitchen will be Barnaby's. He was a fine chef. God only knows why he chose to have his servants cook for him instead. Arthur's test will likely be the stage room. He always enjoyed a good play. Antoinette's, I assume, will be in her bedroom. Something violent, I presume.
Mine likely involves some sort of robotics or science experiment, so I'll head over to the lab.
Please proceed to the next phase. Test 1. Baking. Barnaby, if you would please make Father's favorite meal.
Ah, I believe that would be squirrel stew. It's a joke, really. Barnaby called Father a squirrely man and cooked it for him without ever telling him the contents. The stew or not, or if he knew what Barnaby was up to. I suppose in the end he didn't care. He just wanted to spend time with his son. But enough sentiment. The recipe should be here somewhere. Some ingredients might no longer exist, as well as some measurements. So we can't be sure the wasteland recipe is the same. The original recipe might have included tomatoes and potatoes. A hybrid of that would work, but half a one of either. I'm listening.
Congratulations, Barnaby. You've passed your portion of the test. Please proceed to the next phase.
Arthur's test. The show starts when you step on the stage. Yes, my dear. All right. So, what will this test be? I'd assume it'd be the Bard, or something from that time period.
For this test, you will need to perform the play, The Silver Shroud.
Of course. It would have to be a comic book. Arthur memorized them all because he knew it would bother me to no end. Unfortunately, I'll need you to read. I couldn't possibly do it justice. Don't worry. If you get stuck, just spout out the most incomprehensible nonsense you can think of, and you'll be fine.
Please proceed to the next phase.
Hey,
What do you want, stranger? Can't you see I'm busy selling drugs to kids?
Peddling poison to kids, are we? You have taken your last life, villain.
I don't think so. I can poison as many children as me. Because in Boston, the mob owns the police.
Your crimes have gone unpunished for too long. But today you face the Silver Shroud!
Ah, the Dark Dick himself. I thought you'd be taller. And if you think someone as short as yourself can stop me, then you're as foolish as the human who designed that.
It is not wise to stand between the Silver Shroud and righteous justice.
Ah, but there's another thing standing between you and justice. This helpless child, Timmy. And if you want to punish me, you'll have to kill him to do it. For I've taken him hostage.
You shield yourself behind an innocent. You are Craven. And you shall fall before me.
We'll see about that.
I am the instrument of justice, and I cannot fall. Death has come for you, evildoer, and I am its shroud!
Congratulations, Arthur. You passed your portion of the test. Please proceed to the next phase.
It looks like that did the trick. And just in the nick of time. Any longer and I would have shot you myself. Antoinette had anger issues. She reminds me of a feral ghoul. Or rather, ghouls remind me of her.
If you're ready to start the test, press the button on the wall there.
People deserve a second chance. The Geiger counter seems to have lost its mind, which means we have to work quickly. We'll have to think like my sister. Destroy everything in the room and see if that stops it. What is it, my dear? Before you speak, but you're likely abusing the privilege.
that's all.
Congratulations, Antoinette. You passed your portion of the test. Please proceed to the next phase.
That's all the tests. Let's see how Margaret's doing. Well, I hope these ladies didn't cause you too much trouble.
They're not ladies. They're machines.
And I'm sure disabling them was as simple as pressing 300 buttons.
At least that much. Not that you'd understand anyway. Regardless, it looks like all that's left is your room. I can't wait to see what horrors await inside.
Don't worry, Margaret. I doubt it's anything I haven't shown you already. Not that you were paying attention.
What's this? A room with a holotape? I just had to disable 3 assaultrons before they ripped me to shreds, and this is all that's waiting for you?
For the past 40 years, I've watched my 5 children do nothing but squabble and fight.
I suppose that's that then.
Yet perhaps the
Should we
fault
listen
is
to the
mine
holotape?
for
Let's
failing
just
to
go.
teach them the
Anything made
value
for you,
of
I have
family.
no interest in exposing myself
However,
to.
even now, as I lay sick and dying, I feel it is not too late for them and for me. Over the past decade, while seeking to discover something far more valuable than wealth and fortune. Yet despite all its promises, I will not, cannot give this gift to my children, not as they are now. Audrey, you've always had a gift with words, so this is your test. Make peace with your siblings, and help them make peace with each other. Watch over them through good times is only the first step in a long and arduous journey. That if you make that journey together, I believe the 5 of you can strip immortality of its curse. Apart, you will find it a fate worse than death.
Sir, the doctors are ready.
In a minute. I guess it's time.
Please proceed to the next phase.
So, would you like to do the honors?
You've got to be kidding me. All this work for a single vial?
Let's not jump to conclusions. Father was nothing if not a predictable man.
This vial is a special serum developed by a friend of your father's. Contained inside are the secrets of immortality itself.
Immortality? Ha! Well, this is a fine joke.
You don't say. The prize was worthless. But it's even worse than that. It's ironic.
I am sorry to interrupt your joyous celebration, but I must inform you that I have now fulfilled my duties as guardian of your father's estate. Good luck to all of you.
Well, I suppose it's not a total loss. I'll take that vial, thank you very much.
Really, Margaret? It's a serum that grants you immortality. It might as well be a state-of-the-art television for all the good it'll do.
It may not be worth it to somebody, which makes it a valuable commodity all the same.
Ah, so you did more than disable those assaultrons. You reprogrammed them. There really was no need. If I wanted to kill you, Margaret, I assure you, my friend over here could.
You're all talk, you know that? It's funny. Arthur said you were street smart, that you were the one person who couldn't be swayed by sentiment. And in the end, you just gave me your half of the combination.
Much more. That is, if you ever bother to look.
Humph.
Goodbye, sister. Don't spend it all in 1 century. I'm all...
Hey,
Our DJ sounds much happier these days. Let's hope no one reminds him where we are. Well, that was gruesome. Did I give the go-ahead to kill her? I don't remember winking. It might just have been something in my eye.
I'm sorry, but she deserved to die.
No need for apology. Needed to do. If not for your quick action, we might both be dead. As for the prize, it appears that Margaret missed the boat entirely. The real value was in my father's words. Immortality doesn't have to be dreadful, provided you spend it in good company. But perhaps that's me growing soft again. Luckily, you're here to teach me to shoot first and apologize later. In fact, I think traveling with you will be quite the education. Hopefully. That is, if you ever bother to look.
Humph.
Goodbye, sister. Don't spend it all in 1 century. Yes, my dear. Well, that ends that. I appreciate the restraint you showed. Margaret may not have had a high opinion of me, but in time she may realize what she really gained from all this.
You did the right thing. She isn't worth dying for, or killing for.
Yes, I knew that already. The question was whether the inheritance was of any value to her. Regardless, I'd say poor Margaret left the real prize behind. It's a lesson I learned in D.C. Immortality doesn't have to be dreadful, provided you spend it in good company. In fact, given your... I think traveling with you will be quite the education. Hopefully, you feel the same.
Not a problem. I take care of my friends.
Then, what I've lost in a sister, I've gained in a friend. Blood relations are overrated, anyway. But enough with the hugs and kisses. You have work to do, right? Then let's do it.